y'all, Bridget Chandler here from Athens State University, and this video is specifically for CE 520 Aligning CTE Curricula. So hopefully this is going to fall into Module 2, and if you're seeing this, I hope that you're not too frustrated right at this moment. I am working through some of the kinks of copying things from section to section, so I'm doing that today and trying to align things. I thought that was aligned, but apparently it's not. So right now, for example, I am in Blackboard on my computer, and I'm in the section 12974 for the course CE 520. So when I load things in there and I copy them from course to course, like I expect them to copy, but I'm figuring out that sometimes they're not. So that's the frustration comment that I made about the assignment to link. I got several emails from you guys saying that the link did not show up in your particular section. So I humbly apologize. I'm sorry that that was not there for you, and I hope that you didn't eat too many Tums and you are not in too many, you're okay. Hopefully you're okay. But I did get it emailed from several of you. This is all issue on my end. This is not something that is at all remotely related to a problem that you're having, but solely my problem. So please know that I accept responsibility for that, and then I will also keep these links open for you once I get them open. They will remain open for you. And of course that will be taken into account. Okay, so a little bit more about the modules though. As I'm finding things, I'm adding them to the modules. So this is growing. This course is being built and is growing as it's in progress. So for example, you should have all completed now Module 1. So when you go into your modules, I had someone come down today to help me with the setup of the courses and to show me how I could do some different things in the modules that would be helpful for you. So you will still see Module 1, but it'll be minimized. So you, because I'm not using screen capture, I will show you. So you will see Module 1, but it is minimized. Then you'll see Module 2 and Module 3 that are opened. And you'll be able to work from Module 1 should you need to, or you want to go back into it, because remember, your culminating product is the full curriculum development that you're working on. And so you can still go back into Module 1 should you need to whenever you get ready to submit your final product, but it'll just be minimized. Okay, then in Module 2, when you open Module 2, you should see your required reading at the top, and that's the chapters 3 through 5 from the text. Sidebar here, I have gotten a couple of emails, well actually one today, from someone who says that they're still not able to obtain their text. I really don't know what else to offer to you guys except for to say please consider sharing your textbook with others in your class. And by sharing your textbook, I mean sharing the book, but also sharing the expense. I know that textbooks are very expensive, so I don't expect anyone to purchase that and not share that, share your book without sharing the expense as well. So please consider sharing that textbook, because at this point I really have no other suggestions or anything to offer if the book is truly unavailable to you. Then you will see supplemental material. If you scroll down, task analysis, and it's an example of a task analysis for hand washing. So this is not here because I think anyone's teaching hand washing. It's to show you that how hand washing is a very simple task that we all do every day, and that we do it so often that we wouldn't, how would you turn this into a rubric, or how would you know, or how could you teach someone else to wash their hands? So I wanted you to see something that everybody's familiar with and to understand what that looks like when it becomes a task analysis. So you can look at that as an example. Then there's another supplemental material that's your job task analysis slides, just to help you with what that might look like. Now, other things I want you to think about is when you're doing assignments 2 and 3, which are for you to and assignment 3 is working toward this task analysis, and assignment 2 is your standards. You're going to have to really think outside of depending on what your program area is, what you do every day, to come up with what the standards could be. For example, if you work out in industry, you may have to look at the national standards for what your job is, or the essential functions even of your job. If I were to think about how could I teach someone to be a teacher, since that's what this whole program is about and what I do every day. Well, obviously we don't try to do that all in one course, and so it's broken down into different content, and then within the course, even then, we build and teach different things. So you're going to have to really think about whatever it is you do, and pick one area to work on through this course. So as you complete this curriculum development, you're going to be doing everything in response to one particular area, one specific area within what you do. So if just and it varies from person to person in what you're doing. So I can't make blanket statements for someone who teaches auto mechanics would do the same thing as someone who has a very set curriculum that's set out by business and industry, to someone who works in municipal government, or someone who works in mid-level management at one of our community colleges. So you just have to think about maybe some tasks that you teach other people to do on the job. Maybe you're training new employees, or you've had that responsibility before. So maybe it might be orienting someone to a new computer program that you're using, like when we started using Banner, for example, or now we use our DegreeWorks, which there was a lot of opposition. People didn't want to do that here, so a lot of training went into our faculty to be able to use DegreeWorks. So how could that be? How could you develop curriculum for teaching people to use DegreeWorks? So you're going to have to really think outside of what might be considered standard in your area, because you may not have standard work in your area. But then think about what you do at the job, and you may have to actually walk through and complete a task in order to actually write out a task analysis. So this might be something that is you have to go and do it and write it down while you're doing it, so that you can have that task analysis. On revisions, because if that wasn't clear before, I'm great with you revising what you're turning in. It's hard to assess these assignments based on how well you do them. Like, it's not like yours is going to be so much better than someone else's that therefore your grade is going to be a higher grade. But if you'll notice on your assignments, that's another reason why the point values are as such as they are. When you're given 50 points for just having standards for your curriculum, a list of standards, that in no way tells you how many standards you're going to have, where those standards come from, what those standards look like. It's just based on the definition of standards. What are the standards for the curriculum you're working on for this course? And then a narrative description of how you intend to meet those standards. What kind of things do you plan to do? So 50 points for the list of standards, 50 points for what you plan to do to meet them. But everyone's is going to look very different. So I can't tell you that you must have 10 standards or you need 87 standards, because everybody's will be different. Same thing for task analysis, and even for assignment 1, the curriculum development process. It's more about the fact that you do it than it is to what extent and how well you do it, because your work that you're doing for this particular course can't be assessed in that way. Also bear in mind that you're going to turn in that culminating project. So you can look ahead by going on to the document that's linked for you, the Google Doc, with all of the assignments, and you can see how that they build on one another. Where assignment 3 is the task analysis, going back to that, where you have to make decisions like what prerequisite skills that the learner may need in order to complete this particular task. Assignment 4, moving on ahead of it, is your goals, outcomes, and objectives. So that's where you turn your tasks into these goals and objectives. Assignment 5 is the content development and unit development. So again, kind of chunking this down and what is this going to look like and how does it flow together. Assignment 6 is your instructional strategies you will use to teach this. And then assignment 7 is the final curriculum. So as I mentioned in another video, you do have the opportunity to basically submit some of these pieces twice. Right now it's more for revision and for fine-tuning, and we're going to be looking at it, and you can change it up, and then you'll have your final product that you submit at the end, which is your full curriculum project. All right, so went all over the place with this announcement today, but I hope that this addresses some particular questions that you might have. And if you have other questions, please just let me know. But know that that I do apologize for the issue with the links, and I'm working to correct those things right now. And I've had someone here in the office helping me on the technological side. So y'all have a wonderful afternoon, and I hope that that we have all of us have very productive weeks. Thank you.